Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is JT from Above and Below the Belt. I want to talk about Erik Morales is talking about Canelo Alvarez fighting older fighters in a shot, right? It says Canelo trainer Reynoso responds to Morales' criticism about fighting older guys. I'm not gonna read all this. I'm gonna just read some of it. Some of the stuff that um, I'm gonna just read. Okay, it says by Sean Jones. So Canelo Alvarez, longtime trainer Eddie Reynoso wasn't happy to hear the criticism from Mexican great Erik Morales before his fight last Saturday against WO light heavyweight champion Sergey Kovalev. And one thing is, you have to understand, Erik Morales is like he's an old school. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't business first and fight late. I mean, of course you got to handle your business, of course, the money wise at the same time. But it seemed like people are divas, and I'm not gonna say Floyd Mayweather wasn't a diva because I think he was a diva. I ain't gonna lie about that. You know what I'm saying? But to say because you are getting these fighters coming from poverty. So they are going to handle themselves different when they do get money, of course. I mean, that's for a lot of people, right? But it's just how you handle yourself at the same time. But Eddie Reynoso says, okay, he says something about, this is what he says. He says, matter of fact, he says, Morales is not impressed with the Canelo opposition in becoming a 4 division world champ. Hall of Fame fighter Morales is an old school fighter who believes in fighters facing the best champion to capture the world titles, which I agree with that. He sees Canelo, who appears to have been calculated in going after vulnerable champions, and he has a problem with that. I mean, I wouldn't have a problem with that at all. That's what I like to see. You know what I'm saying? I'm the same way with Gervonta Davis. He haven't fought the opposition that I think he should be fighting, but he's going after people who jumping up on weight, whatever, and he's the bigger fighter at the same time, and he's knocking them out, of course. But I mean, that's what I expect because he got that knockout power, right? It's been calculated with his career because Floyd Mayweather is in charge of his career too at the same time. But getting back to what Erik Morales was talking about, this is Eddie Reynoso says about Erik Morales. What a shame to read champions and former champions minimizing the success of a compatriot, Canelo, and fellow professional who began as they from below, or a sport that perfectly knows the sacrifices and the danger it represents. Perfection does not exist. The championship, yes, but one thing is in that he didn't rebut about what Erik Morales was saying. That tells you something right there. He didn't rebut about what Erik Morales was talking about Canelo fighting older fighters. He just saying that he's supposed to be a champion. He's disappointing him. He said you should be happy or cheerful that Canelo Alvarez, who's from the same country you are, that he's a 4 division champion. Okay, he is a 4 division champion, but not the champion that we think he is. It's still the jury is still out about Canelo Alvarez. But you know what the funny thing about that is? He supposed to be of course he's the cash cow. We know that. But is he the face of boxing now? And I say he was the face of boxing, but I'm gonna have another video about that. But right now it's looking like he's not the face of boxing. And I'm not gonna get into it. I'm not gonna talk about that in this video. But the face of boxing, aka the face of boxing, supposed to be fighting the fighters that what I'm saying that he should be considered the best, the number one pound. That's the reason why people don't have him pound number one. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know why Canelo Alvarez sees this, but he just don't care because he's getting $35 million. I can understand it. It's about the money. I agree with that. But it's gonna be some consequences behind them actions at the same time. Him accepting that number and his legacy and his is gonna be affected. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody will say that what Erik Morales is saying, and Eagle and Fanon and 7 Sports is saying, and Trio Boxing saying at the same time, and the IFB, I forgot the dude's name, but Goodfellas Sports and Counter Punch Boxing News. Well, he's talking. They saying the same thing. Some of them are the LDBC, and some of them are not with them. But they're saying the same thing. So all of them are hating, and everybody else is right. I mean, all of them are hating, but you are right about. Come on, let Canelo Alvarez do what he do. He's the number one. He's the number one boxer of this era. Which some people might disagree with that because he's not fighting the best fighters in the world right now. One thing is I'm not gonna read all this. I'm gonna leave it in my description box on my channel. It says Renocio can't justify Canelo facing the opposition that he's faced because it's pretty clear that he's faced a lot of vulnerable guys to win his world titles. There's nothing wrong with Canelo being selective in the champions he faces, since that's how it's nowadays. Boxing has become more of a business in this era. Yes, it has. It's been more about business. And I will say thanks to Floyd Mayweather, but Floyd Mayweather went the route he went, but still he the first one that did it. But when everybody else is trying to do what he did, it's gonna look it's gonna look a little bit suspect. But Canelo Alvarez's career is not like Floyd Mayweather's career at all. Floyd Mayweather did it his way. Canelo Alvarez trying to do it Floyd Mayweather's way, but he's not Floyd Mayweather. Not when it comes skill wise. He's Canelo Alvarez trying to get Floyd Mayweather to come out of retirement to fight him. He was trying to get the news, the reporters, and what Canelo Alvarez will face Andre Ward coming out if he going straight to that fight instead of getting a 2-2. That's what people was talking about. But guess what? Andre Ward is 35 years old and he haven't fought in 2 years, and he was trying to get Floyd Mayweather to come out of retirement, but he haven't fought in 2 years. And he's 40 years old. He's like 41, 42 years old. Come on now. You know what I'm saying? That's why he's not pound number one. And some people say that he's not the face of boxing. And I'm going to talk about that in another video. But I can't disagree with him with that either. I remember I said he was the face of boxing. You know what I'm saying? But now, as I'm looking at it, I'm starting to have a change of thought. But right now, but the jury's still out, I guess, and he's 29 years old, Canelo Alvarez, and he can still fight the fighters that we want him to fight. So he can still redeem himself. He can still go and he's kind of funny. He said, some people want Jamal Charlo and Dimitri Andrade to go their own path, which I do agree with that. But when Canelo Alvarez did his thing. He went to fight Floyd Mayweather, but then that's when he got the cash cow or the face of boxing because he lost against Floyd Mayweather was by default. You know what I'm saying? He didn't go his own path. He is going his own path now. He's doing it the way he want to do it, which is the hardcore boxer fan sees. And I don't know about the casual boxer fan because I think the casual boxer fan just want to see a fight. Right, matter if he picking them, and if they pass their prime, they're not the fighters that they used to be. They used to be whatever. But at the same time, man, Canelo Alvarez, he says Canelo fought these guys to become a 4-division world champ. Matthew Haddon, that's Ricky Haddon's younger brother, if I'm not mistaken, right? WBC 154 pounder, Miguel Cotto. WBC 160 pounder. Rocky Fielding, WBC regular 168 pounder. Sugar Kovalev. But you got to understand, the WBO 175 pounder. You got to understand that Matthew Hatton was, I don't know who he was until I started doing a little bit of research on him. He had one loss already. I think he had a draw and one loss already. You know what I'm saying? But he was the weakest one. He's the weak at 154 pounds. And then don't forget, he jumped up to 154 to fight Canelo Alvarez. You see what I'm saying? It's calculated. Miguel Cotto, he was past his prime. And the funny thing about this is, Canelo Alvarez didn't knock out Miguel Cotto. I don't think he knocked out Matt Hatton either, if I'm not mistaken. You know, he didn't knock him out. Rocky Fielding, he knocked him out. He knocked out Sergey Kovalev, but Sergey Kovalev was 36 years old, about to turn 37 in April next year. And he got 3 losses already. And Rocky Fielding got lost against Colin Smith in the first round. And Colin Smith, okay, these are the fighters he fought, right? He fought these fighters, right? Basically saying these fighters are not the top tier fighters. Basically, he says Hatton was a welterweight that moved up to 154 to fight Canelo for the vacant WBC junior middleweight title in 2011. He moved up. Cotto was 35 years old and not anywhere near the talent of Golovkin at the time Canelo fought him. I agree with that. Fielding was viewed as the weakest of the 168 champions last year when Canelo fought him for the WBA secondary strap, which I agree with that too. But I didn't pounce on Canelo fighting Rocky Fielding because I think it was after the Dane Jacob fight. Dane Jacob was they're not talking about that. He was 100. I think he was at 160. He got the IBF strap. You know what I'm saying? So he did. That's why I was saying. That's why I said I was kind of cool with him fighting Rocky Fielding. But he was weak. He was weak. He was not the top 168 pounder. He was the weakest one, right? Like Sergey Kovalev was the weakest one. I think the Arthur Beterbiev is the top notch up there in that weight 175 light heavyweight division. You know what I'm saying? So and matter of fact, okay, he says Canelo could have fought WBA Super World Champion Colin Smith, which that's true. He could have fought him, but he chose to face Fielding instead for the secondary strap. Kovalev was seen as the weakest of the weakest of the 175 world champion when Canelo fought him, which I can't disagree with that. Although Renocio told the media last week that Kovalev was better than Beterbiev, few people agree with him. Guess what? A few people agree with him. At this point, Kovalev, a career, he wasn't in the same league as Beterbiev. I agree with that. At this point in Kovalev's career, he wasn't in the same league as Beterbiev. I mean, of course, I don't think Beterbiev's resume is sparked up like Kovalev, but Beterbiev is the better fighter at 107. He's the light heavyweight champion, right? Because he got 2 of the belts. You know what I'm saying? And he's 15 wins and 15 knockouts. He don't have no losses. Haven't been exposed yet. Kovalev had been exposed. I mean, Rocky Fielding was the weakest. I didn't know who Rocky Fielding was. I didn't know who Arthur Beterbiev was until he fought 2 Saturdays ago. And he's a monster. But now he go to fighters that he says Canelo could have fought the best but didn't. At this time, Canelo fought for the 154 belt. He could have fought for IBF 54-pound champion Jamal Charlo, but he fought Daniel Jacobs. Daniel Jacobs at 150. I think Daniel Jacobs at 150 at 154. No, he's at 160. He's at 160 if I'm not mistaken. Now Daniel Jacobs at 168. He's at 160. I guess this must have been this must have been old when Jamal Charlo was at 154. But when Jamal went up to 160, he still didn't have fought Jamal Charlo. You know what I'm saying? So it says that would have been a more good fight. A choice for Canelo rather than going after Leon Smith for his WBO belt. At the time, Golden Boy promotion boss Oscar De La Hoya said Leon was the best at 150. No, he wasn't. With Charlo holding the IBF belt at the time, it was hard to take him seriously. Yeah, Leon Smith was not the best. It was Jamal Charlo to me at that time. Jamal Charlo would beat Leon Smith, you know. And he says these are the first Canelo could have fought to win his 4 division titles. Jamal Charlo 54, which would have been good. Triple G, Gennady Golovkin 160 back in 2016 when he was mandatory to fight Golovkin, but he gave up his belt. That figures, right? Colin Smith, 168, which he didn't fight him. He fought Rocky Fielding. Colin Smith is a top notch in the 168 division. Or it could be David Benavidez. Arthur Benavidez is the champion at 175, but he fought Sergey Kovalev. So it is calculated. I know it's been calculated, of course. You know what I'm saying? That's why I don't got him at. That's why I don't got Canelo Alvarez as my top pound number one. I don't have nobody in my top pound number one. I don't have Chance Crawford. I used to have Chance Crawford there, but I don't have him there no more. But because he's fighting these oppositions that I know he's gonna beat. I mean, it's a chance that the people can't beat him by a punch, but at the same time, man, Terence Crawford is a better skill fighter than a lot of people at the welterweight division. But he had fought Sean Porter, he had fought Danny Garcia, he had fought Mikey Garcia, he hadn't fought Earl Spence Jr. yet, which I think those fights will happen. But with Canelo Alvarez, I don't know this fight. I don't know this fight between these two. Well, he did fight Golovkin. He did fight him and knocked him out the way, but that was like in 2017 when he turned 35 years old. When he was when Danny Jacobs got to him, he didn't look that great. I know Canelo Alvarez was looking at that fight. That's when he said, "Well, you know what? Let me fight this guy. I think he's getting older." You see what I'm saying? And a lot of people said that Triple G lost that fight, but Triple G got the knockdown against Danny Jacobs. That's what I guess persuaded the judges. And I don't think, matter of fact, even if he didn't get the knockdown, I think Triple G probably won the fight anyway because of his star power, or just his name, right? Because it was a back and forth fight. You know what I'm saying? So, but even though he hadn't fought he hadn't fought Jamal Charlo, he hadn't fought Colin Smith, he hadn't fought Arthur Benavidez, and he hadn't fought Demetrius Andrade. He got a lot of people to fight. See, guess what? Jamal Charlo has no losses. Colin Smith has no losses. Arthur Benavidez have no losses. Demetrius Andrade don't got no losses. And they're young fighters. Arthur Benavidez is about 34 years old. He's about to be old now. In another year, maybe 2 more years. It depends on how he fight. But he's a beast. He haven't been exposed yet. That's the thing. You know what I'm saying? It says, although Canelo did eventually face Golovkin, it was until 2017 after he already won the WBC 160 title from 35-year-old Miguel Cotto. Even then, a lot of boxing fans believe Golovkin deserved a victory in his first fight with Canelo in 2017. That match was scored a controversial draw, but it looked like Golovkin won 8 rounds to 4. I don't know if this Erik Morales is talking like this or the person who wrote this article. I don't know. Maybe it was. Maybe this Erik Morales saying this, or the person who wrote this article. I don't know. Or maybe they're getting this from somebody else who said this in another article on another website. You see what I'm saying? So, one thing is it's just this. I'm gonna leave this article on my page at the bottom. But his stuff. Canelo Alvarez, the jury's still out. Is he the number one pound number one? And is he still? I'm not gonna say he's the face of. I'm not gonna say he's the face of boxing, but my mind is changing about that off the last fight with Sergey Kovalev, and I'm gonna talk about that in another video. But what y'all think about what I'm saying? What y'all think about what Erik Morales is saying? You think he's hating? Because one thing is Julio Cesar Chavez said that the pound number one is Terence Crawford. Erik Morales didn't say who's his pound number one. They didn't even ask him that question. But I don't think it would be Canelo Alvarez by what he's saying. By he's fighting older fighters or shot fighters who's been past their prime and they're not the same no more at the same time. And he's captivate. He is capturing belts. He's getting belts from not the best fighters in their division. And I agree with that. I won't disagree with that. You know what I'm saying? And one thing, let me tell you something. I'm gonna say this. Let's say that he fought Triple G, and they say he lost that first fight. He won the second fight, right? He got one, and he got Danny Jacobs too, and he won that fight too. That was 2 fighters he got under his belt. Austin Trout. Some people say he lost against Austin Trout, Canelo Alvarez, and some, but the knockdowns. To me, I believe that he won because he got the knockdown, right? I think Canelo lost against Laura, and I think of course, he lost against Floyd Mayweather. You know what I'm saying? So he might have 2 or 3 losses on his resume. Maybe even be 4, because some people say he lost against Trout. Some people say that, right? You know what I'm saying? But let me tell you this. So now his record still got 1 loss, right? Let's say he fight. These 3 fights right here, Colin Smith and Arthur Beterbiev, and Jamal Charlo, or Demetrius Andrade. And Demetrius Andrade is on the same network as Canelo Alvarez. He was the zone. He would match 1 boxing, but that fight could be easily made. But he said he don't want to fight. He don't want to fight Demetrius Andrade because he's a boring fighter, and he's a good fighter, but he's just a boring fighter. He don't want his fans to be. He said he don't want his fans to get bored and stuff like that. But it's kind of funny. Canelo Alvarez don't give a fuck what nobody think about him. You a superstar. You don't want to fight who you want to fight. And and then the last fight you was with Sergio Kovalev wasn't that very entertaining. It wasn't a great fight. Of course, you got the knockdown, but before the knockdown, it wasn't a great fight like that. It wasn't an entertaining fight, like, you know what I'm saying. But Canelo Alvarez said that for a reason, right? You know, Demetrius Andrade is a bad style for him, and he knows that, right? That's like Lord fighting him. You know what I'm saying? And a better advanced Laura, which is Demetrius Andrade. But let's say he get Demetrius or get past Demetrius and and it's got to be. I'm not gonna say dominating fight, but it's got to be convincingly that Canelo won that fight, and Jamal Charlo. And I'll say he don't have to fight Colin Smith or Arthur Beterbiev. He don't have to fight. He don't have to fight these 2. But he said he ain't gonna go down to 160 because Jamal Charlo's not 154 no more. You know what I'm saying? So if he get 2 of those on his belt and beat them, then he's the number 1 pound. Matter of fact, even if he beat 1 of them, then I put him in my pound number 1. And it's got to be convincingly. It can't be back and forth a draw, or it can't be like if it could have been he won, or it could have been the other person won. It couldn't be. I don't want to be like that. You know what I'm saying? So, and I put him, but he just need 1 more fight against one of these guys, even one of these guys. But I think he's gonna fight Billy Joe Saunders at 164. I could be wrong. He might fight somebody else, but Billy Joe Saunders after that fight with the Argentina fighter, he didn't look that great. But he did get the job done. He did get the knockout. But Canelo Alvarez knows, and Oscar De La Hoya knows this too at the same time. So, what y'all think what I'm saying? You disagree with me? You agree with me? Who you think Canelo Alvarez fight gonna be next? Or do you think he should be pound number 1? Do you think he should not be pound number 1? Do you think he's the face of boxing? Because we already know he's the cash cow, of course, because he's getting $35 million per fight, right? Like I say, money talk, bullshit walks, right? Leave a comment at the bottom of my page, subscribe to my page, like my page, hit the notification bell for new videos from me. This is JT from Above Below the Belt. All right, bye.